So I'm going to put in my given angle here, pi over 3. Now it's just asking, do you guys notice the difference between our problems from the previous? This one just says, find one positive, find one that's negative. So all I have to do is basically do a full rotation. What's the smallest number you can pick? I just pick a 1. You could pick like 5, you could pick 10, because it's going to give us a positive angle in radians. But I'm just doing less work. High school students like less work, right? Class, can I add those two fractions together? How do I make 2 pi over fraction? And to make it a common denominator, we're going to have to multiply by 3 over 3. So this will give us what? 6 pi over 3. And 1 pi over 3. So 1 plus 6 gives you 7 pi over 3. 7 pi over 3 is our answer. Do you want to draw a quick picture? Okay, this one's going to be a little bit... This is going to wrap our brains. Ready? Put your finger on the starting point. Should be right here. Have I moved anywhere? My angle is measured in radians. This would be 0 radians. Just pay attention. Better than writing. If I do a full rotation that's positive, instead of degrees in radians, a full rotation is 2 pi. 0 radians and 2 pi are the same. Class, what's half of 2 pi? 1 pi. I'm going to leave it, it's kind of weird, but I'm going to leave it 2 pi over 2. Because that's like 360 degrees, right? And half of 360 degrees is 180. So 180 is equal to pi. What's half of pi? So if I just had a pi here, right? That's just 1 pi or just pi. What's half of that? Half of that would be 90 degrees, but in radians that would just be pi over 2. So let's review. 2 pi is equivalent to 360 degrees. Half of that is just pi, so pi is equal to 180 degrees. Half of 180 is 90 degrees, so half of pi is pi over 2. 90 plus 180 gave us 270. So 1 pi over 2 plus 2 pi over 2 gives us 3 pi over 2. Okay? The question is, how do I graph this? Well, pi over 3, let's graph that one first. That'll make sense. Pi over 3 is going to be somewhere in here. And you can kind of tell what it is. Pi is equal to how many degrees, class? 180 divided by 3 is 60. So my angle is going to look something like this. There's my terminal side from yesterday's lesson. Here is the initial side. And then this angle here is pi over 3. Okay, so if I start at this here, at this ray, and I do a full rotation. Class, did we do a positive or negative? Positive. So which direction is that? Which way? So if I do a full rotation, you're not, in this case, we are adding a full rotation. In that case, our full rotation is 2 pi. So if I add pi over 3 plus 2 pi, we end up in the same position. That position is 7 pi over 3. So the big idea, pi over 3 and 7 pi over 3 are coterminal angles. 7 pi over 3 is one that is a positive coterminal angle. Let's do the negative. David, what is our formula? 2 pi. Parina, what do I put in the blanks?
Wait, what? Oh, you put pi over 3.
We're going to need to put a rotation. We're trying to get a negative angle. Yeah, the easiest ones are positive 1. Kimberly says negative 1. So class, I have now pi over 3. Zoom in over for you. Negative 1 times 2 pi, class? Negative 2 pi. I need to make this a common denominator. How do I do that, class? Put it over 1. Let me try to help you color code this to kind of see it. This is the number you pick. Doesn't always work, but in this case with the 1, yes it does. So I'm going to multiply by what? 3 over 3, because you can multiply any number times 1. So I'll get pi over 3 minus, multiply across, 6 pi over 3. So now I have 1 minus 6, that gives you negative 5 pi over 3, is the negative coterminal angle with pi over 3. So basically you're still doing full rotations. The only difference now is that you're dealing with radians, and with radians, if you have an exact answer like we are working with, they have lots of what? Your best friends, fractions.